Imagine a world where angels fell in love with humans, where giants walked the earth, their footsteps shaking mountains. A world so corrupt that God himself wept at its wickedness. This isn't fantasy. This is Genesis chapter 6, perhaps the most mysterious and profound chapter in all of biblical history. And today, we're going to unlock its secrets. In the days when the world was young, when mountains were still finding their shape and rivers were learning their paths to the sea, something extraordinary began to unfold. The children of Adam and Eve had multiplied, spreading across the fertile lands between the 4 great rivers. Cities rose from the dust, their mud brick walls reaching toward heaven, while in their streets, the daughters of men danced and sang, their beauty renowned throughout the ancient world. But they were not the only ones watching these daughters of mankind. High above, in realms of light beyond mortal understanding, the sons of God gazed down upon the earth. These beings of celestial fire and divine purpose found themselves drawn to the grace and allure of mortal women. Their hearts, once set only upon heavenly duties, now yearned for earthly pleasures. And so, in an act that would forever change the course of history, these divine beings made their choice. They descended. The sky itself seemed to tremble as they abandoned their heavenly stations. Their arrival was like falling stars, each one bringing with them knowledge of mysteries humans were never meant to possess. They took for themselves wives from among the daughters of men, and from these unions came forth children, unlike any the world had seen before or since. These were the Nephilim, giants among men, both in stature and in spirit. Their very footsteps shook the earth, and their names became legend. They were warriors whose might knew no equal, hunters who could bring down beasts of terrible size, builders who raised monuments that stretched toward the clouds. The ancient world trembled at their power, and songs were sung of their deeds in every corner of the known lands. But with great power came terrible corruption. As the Nephilim grew in strength and number, they taught humanity arts and sciences that heaven had kept hidden, the forging of weapons, the secrets of adornment, the mysteries of sorcery, the ways of war. Knowledge flowed like wine, intoxicating humanity with powers they were not ready to wield. Violence spread like a fever through the earth, and the hearts of men grew dark with ambition and desire. God watched as his world descended into chaos. Every thought of human hearts turned toward evil, every imagination bent toward destruction. The corruption was complete, a cancer that had spread to every corner of creation. The very earth itself cried out, soaked with the blood of the innocent, groaning under the weight of mankind's wickedness. And then, like a single candle flame in an ocean of darkness, there was Noah. Noah walked differently than those around him. While others rushed toward power and pleasure, he stepped carefully, choosing each footfall with reverence. While others filled their hearts with schemes of greatness, he filled his with prayers. While others sought the company of the mighty Nephilim, he sought only the presence of God. God looked upon Noah and saw something precious, a heart still capable of goodness in a world drowning in evil. Here was a man who still remembered what it meant to be truly human, who taught his sons to love mercy more than might, to seek wisdom rather than power. And so God revealed to Noah what was to come. God had seen enough. The experiment of joining heaven and earth had failed catastrophically. The world had become like a vessel so corrupt that No amount of cleaning could restore it. It needed to be unmade and begun anew. Waters would come, not gentle rains to nourish the earth, but floods to cleanse it of its corruption. But Noah would be the bridge between two worlds, the world that was and the world that would be. God instructed him to build an ark, a vessel of salvation in a coming storm of judgment. The dimensions were precise, the instructions detailed, for this would be no ordinary boat, but a cradle for creation's new beginning. As Noah's hammer rang out across the plains, his neighbors laughed. As he gathered gopher wood and pitch, they mocked his madness. As he spoke of coming waters, they pointed to the clear skies and continued in their revelry. The Nephilim towered over his construction site, seeing this simple boat as nothing compared to their great monuments and mighty fortresses. Yet Noah continued to build, each strike of his hammer a declaration of faith, each beam a testimony to his trust in the unseen. His righteousness was not just in his beliefs, but in his steadfast action, in his willingness to stand alone against the tide of a world gone mad. And so the stage was set for the greatest catastrophe and the greatest act of salvation the world had yet known. The sons of God had chosen earth over heaven, and the earth itself would soon be washed clean of their choice. But through one man's faithfulness, hope would survive, floating above the waters of judgment in a wooden ark, carrying within it the seeds of a new beginning. This is the story of Genesis 6, not just a tale of destruction, but a testament to the power of choosing light when surrounded by darkness, of maintaining faith when all others have forgotten, of building hope even when storm clouds gather on the horizon. The echoes of this ancient story still resonate today, carrying whispers of warning and wisdom across the millennia. What choices will you make when standing alone feels impossible? What will you build when others mock your faith? If you've been moved by this hidden chapter of history, join our community of truth seekers. Hit subscribe to delve deeper into more lost stories from the ancient world, and share this video with someone who needs to hear that even in the darkest of times, one person's faithfulness can change the course of history. Leave a comment below, sharing what this story means to you. What modern parallels do you see in your own world? Until our next journey through the hidden chapters, remember, sometimes the most powerful acts of courage are built one faithful moment at a time.